Hola, buenas tardes, buenos días. I hope everyone is having an enjoyable evening. I am Señora Avila. I am your child's Spanish 1 teacher, and I wanted to go over a few things with you so that you're aware of what your child is working on in Spanish 1 this year. This is actually my 19th year in teaching. I completed 15 years in elementary education, and 4 years ago, I decided to move up to middle school, and I'm lucky enough to have started my middle school career, my middle school years here at South Belton. I am a Belton High graduate, and I also graduated from UMHB here in town. I know that this weekend I was able to message all parents. I actually sent out an email with these remind codes for everybody. Each class, depending on when your child has Spanish class, each class has its own code. And so in order to sign up for remind messages from me, you would need to have the code for the correct class. And here they are in case you need them again. Here is my email in case you ever need to reach out to me via email. And then my phone extension, my number is 215-3066, 215-3066. And then students can also send me messages on Schoology. And then with your permission, if you want them to sign up for remind messages, they can certainly do that. They would also need the same code that you would need in order to send these remind messages. And then these are some of the things that we're going to be working on this year. Since this is a high school credit course, we will follow high school policies and guidelines. Attendance has to be at a 90% by the end of the school year in order to get credit for the course. This is actually out of the handbook. And as a matter of fact, any of the courses that are high school credit courses like art and algebra 1, in those courses, your child is expected to be in class 90% of the time. When the student has absences or too many absences, honestly, it's really too many absences, he or she will have to make up attendance by either attending after school tutoring to make up the time or during advisory. If they get here right at 7:40, they can do time from 7:40 to 8:05, and that will take care of absences that they previously have accrued. Even if there is a doctor's excuse note for the absence, it's still considered an absence, okay? And so for some students, I'm actually going to go ahead and start having that conversation with some students because they're already at more than 2 absences since we started at the beginning of the school year. The grading scale is not much different than it is in a regular course. The grading scale is 6 minor grades, 3 major grades. However, the percentages are different. So for minor grades, they count as 35%, whereas major grades count as 65% of the grades. And so that's kind of another thing that makes the high school course a little different is the percentage. And then what is it that I want your child to be able to achieve by the time they finish this class? I want them to be able to comprehend spoken Spanish. I want them to be able to speak Spanish using good pronunciation, and then comprehend materials written in Spanish, writing to communicate in Spanish, and then comparing and contrasting student culture with perspectives found in the Spanish-speaking world. We're going to be doing a lot of just that, comparing traditions and customs in Spanish-speaking countries versus how the students celebrate certain holidays and the customs that they have. The other thing I want you to keep in mind is that the language kind of has many aspects of it. It has a speaking, a listening, a writing, and what did I miss out? Listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Okay, so those are kind of the 4 components of a language. And each child is going to pick up different parts of those components at different pace. So the more you practice and the better effort you put into it, the better the outcome will be. Also, in order for somebody to completely obtain a language, it takes a good 5 to 7 years to become fluent. 5 to 7 years of practice. All right, these are going to be the units of study. I'm not going to read them all, but these are the vocabulary terms that we're going to be looking at. I do want to point out the grammar and the conjugation portion because that's what's going to play a big part in our class this year. I will be teaching kids different vocabulary terms for these topics. And then I'm going to be teaching some verbs to go along with them and conjugating those verbs so that we can compose some complete sentences and so that the students can speak in complete sentences. And then tutoring this year is going to be after school on Tuesdays from 4 to 4:30. I do ask that you or your child coordinate that with me prior to Tuesday, like at the latest Monday. That way I can make arrangements for my personal children on those days. So as long as you or your child lets me know by Monday, hey, I'd like to stay for tutoring, that would be okay. If your child has to start making up attendance for Spanish class because of absences, this is the perfect time to take care of that. And then there might be some days on Tuesdays where I could stay until 5, but no later than 5. And that way students can get a full hour in for their attendance makeup. Something that's super important. I know we've already gotten school started and the ball rolling. Most students came in with supplies that they needed. Some of them did not, and we were able to get Spanish composition notebooks for some people that didn't have those. But it's very important that your child has headphones or earbuds for this class because we're going to be doing some listening activities, and they each need to be able to listen to their own device, from their own device, if you will. And then these are some important websites. myhrw.com is actually our textbook, but I'm going to show you an easier way to access that. It'll automatically auto-generate, and it'll automatically let them in using their first dot last name at mybisd.net. Password is Tiger ID. Most kids have already set up a Duolingo account. I know it's actually a free Duolingo account. We did that on the Chromebook. Some kids wanted to take care of that on their phone, and that's okay, except for on the phone, it wants you to pay to join, and it's not needed. It's not necessary as long as you go to the website. Conjuguemos.com is conjugate.com, and then Quizlet.com. If kids ask to get access to Quizlet, they will have access to pre-made lists that I have already set up, and those lists are vocabulary and verb terms that we go over under each topic. Okay, the easier way to get to our Spanish textbook is kids can go to ClassLink on their Chromebook, and then they go to Holt McDougall online, and that will take them to the textbook. Everybody that's been in class these last couple of weeks have been walked through access and how to get to Holt McDougall online, which is Avancemos, our textbook. Okay, and just as a way of encouraging kids to do what they need to, I do have a few reward systems. They can earn prizes for doing well on online games. I usually choose a Spanish señorita of the month or a Spanish joven of the month for each month, and that all depends on their effort, their attitude in class, and how well they do behavior-wise as well, okay, in class. And then as a school, we have the brag board system. Each class kind of has a competition amongst other classes, and they earn brag points for doing well or for answering questions individually. And then as a class, once that's filled up, each class kind of votes on what they would like for their prize to be. A lot of times it's just some kind of activity the last 10 minutes of class. Okay, and then before we leave, I'd like to walk you through kind of Schoology and how it works very quickly, so I don't take up too much time. Okay, your students, your child's classes are set up in Schoology by class, and then each class actually has folders set up. So here's first period's folder. This is week 4. This is this week's. And then you can expand it this way. Martes is Tuesday, miércoles, Wednesday, jueves, Thursday, viernes, Friday. And so anytime your child is absent, they need to expand the folders completely, read the outside of the folder so that they can see what it is that we are working on. So for today, lunes, learn how to say the numbers from 0 to 10 and how to exchange phone numbers, and use what you have learned to say your home or cellular phone number. And then there's some videos inside. There's a video inside. We're going to write notes on the phone pad to add to our Spanish notebook. We're going to listen to audio on page 16 in the Spanish book. And then we're also going to complete the a responder, that's also in the Spanish book, and then answer math questions using activity 14. We did this in class already. For kids that have to stay home for whatever reason, they can access this, work on it, and get it submitted. And then since we played a Kahoot in class, kids that are at home can do the Kahoot and then take a screenshot and then submit this way. The turn in, what we're turning in for Monday is going to be the discussion post, which actually ended up working more as a warm-up today. And so if you look at Wednesday, they're turning in the warm-up. At-home learners are turning in the screenshot for their Kahoot. And each day, actually, they're also turning in saying your phone number orally. But each day, kind of, this is how I have it set up. It's very important that students read the outside of the folder, look inside the folder to see what all is in there. And then that way they don't fall behind when they are having to stay away for whatever reason. And really, that's all that I had to say. I think it's also very important that we know as parents that in order for your child to do well, we need to communicate, okay? And so please reach out to me, whether I make a mistake in what I'm teaching, whether I make a mistake in the grading, if something didn't settle well with your child, if they're having issues with someone else in the classroom or just in general at school, or if anything that you feel would be beneficial for me to know, please, please, please reach out to me. Again, you can do that via Remind on through my phone here in the classroom, or on email. That way I know what is going on, and maybe together we can work at solving the situation so that your child does well. Because honestly, the only way he or she will do well is for your child to know that you and I are in constant communication and that we're all on the same page, okay? So please reach out to me if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. That's what I'm here for. I'm here for your child, and I'm here to make the attainment of a new language or bettering the language of your children. I'm wanting to make that an enjoyable and a fun experience for them. Hope everyone has a good afternoon. Adios.